Nestled in the heart of Colorado, surrounded by the majestic Rocky Mountains, stands a grand white building with red rooftops and sweeping balconies. This is the Stanley Hotel, a place known not only for its beauty and history but also for the chilling legends that surround it. Built in 1909 by inventor freelan Oscar Stanley, the hotel was meant to be a luxurious mountain retreat. And for decades it served as just that, welcoming wealthy guests and celebrities. But over time, whispers began to spread. Whispers that the Stanley Hotel was more than just an elegant resort. It was a place where the past refused to leave. Perhaps the most famous connection is to Stephen King. In the 1970s, King and his wife stayed at the Stanley, finding themselves among the hotel's nearly empty halls. That eerie experience inspired him to write The Shining, one of the most iconic horror novels of all time. Since then, the Stanley has become a magnet for thrill seekers, paranormal investigators, and curious travelers from around the world. But what makes this place so fascinating and terrifying? Join us as we delve into the chilling tales of the Stanley Hotel, a place where every room has a story and every shadow holds a secret. The Stanley Hotel is more than just a setting for supernatural tales. It's a living testament to the dreams and fears that have shaped our world. From its grand opening in 1909 until today, the Stanley has stood as a symbol of luxury, mystery, and the allure of the unknown. In the early 20th century, freelan Oscar Stanley, co-inventor of the Stanley steamer, wanted to create a vacation spot that would allow people to enjoy the beauty of the Rocky Mountains without having to brave the rugged journey to get there. The result was a stunning 142-room resort complete with modern amenities like electricity and central heating. But it was also a palace of dreams, a place where guests could escape the ordinary and immerse themselves in the extraordinary. Over the years, the Stanley hosted a myriad of famous faces, from actors and musicians to politicians and royalty. But it wasn't just the glitterati who were drawn to the hotel. Writers, artists, and anyone seeking a touch of magic found solace in its halls. For many, the Stanley became a second home, a place to relax, rejuvenate, and let the creative juices flow. But as the decades passed, the shine began to fade. By the 1970s, the hotel's popularity waned and it faced a financial crisis. Then came the fateful night that changed everything. Stephen King and his wife Tabitha arrived at the Stanley on June 1974. They were the only guests in a nearly empty hotel. As they explored the vast corridors and echoing rooms, they couldn't shake off the feeling that they were not alone. Suddenly, the isolation and stillness of the place took on a life of their own. And that's when the idea for The Shining struck. Upon returning home, King wrote about his experience at the hotel, weaving a tale of terror that would captivate readers worldwide. Danny Torrance, the young protagonist, finds solace in the vast halls of the Overlook Hotel, a fictionalized version of the Stanley. But as the story unfolds, the hotel's sinister secrets come to light, turning into a battleground between good and evil. The release of The Shining catapulted the Stanley Hotel back into the spotlight. Horror enthusiasts and curious tourists flocked to the hotel, eager to experience the place that had inspired such a masterpiece. But as they stepped inside, they couldn't help but wonder if the story was true. Did the Stanley really hold dark secrets waiting to be uncovered? Today, the Stanley is known as one of the most haunted hotels in the United States. But is there any truth to these chilling tales? The Stanley Hotel isn't just a setting for supernatural tales. It's a living testament to the dreams and fears that have shaped our world. From its grand opening in 1909 until today, the Stanley has stood as a symbol of luxury, mystery, and the allure of the unknown. As you wander through the hotel's maze of corridors and step into its creaky rooms, you can't help but feel a sense of déjà vu. Each corner seems to whisper stories of the past, inviting you to unravel the secrets hidden within. But where do these legends begin and end? What's fact and what's fiction? Let us take a closer look at the Stanley Hotel and explore the chilling tales that have made it famous. One of the most famous legends associated with the Stanley is the story of a young housekeeper named Elizabeth Wilson. Legend has it that while cleaning room 217, a gas-fueled boiler exploded, leaving Elizabeth trapped and covered in debris. Despite sustaining serious injuries, she managed to survive. However, her spirit is said to linger in the room, forever trapped in a state of torment. Some guests have reported hearing the sound of footsteps and doors slamming, believing it to be Elizabeth searching for a way out of her prison. Others claim to have seen her apparition wandering the halls at night, forever seeking peace. But is there any truth to this haunting tale? While the Stanley's archives contain no record of such an accident, that hasn't stopped Elizabeth's story from captivating the imaginations of guests and staff alike. Room 217 has become one of the most infamous rooms in the hotel, with many refusing to book a stay there for fear of encountering Elizabeth's restless spirit. But perhaps the true horror lies not in the room itself, but in the stories we tell about it. Another unsettling legend revolves around the hotel's ballroom. On the night of June 13, 1911, a grand opening party was held in the ballroom to celebrate the Stanleys' first full season. But the festivities turned tragic when a fire broke out, claiming several lives and leaving many injured. Some guests claim to have heard the faint sound of music echoing from the ballroom, even when no event is taking place. Is it the ghosts of dancers reliving their final moments, or simply the wind whistling through the cracks in the walls? As the sun sets and the temperature drops, the Stanley Hotel transforms into a different realm. Shadows stretch and twist, taking on a life of their own. The wind howls outside, rattling the windows and sending shivers down your spine. You can almost feel the presence of those who have come before you, their footsteps echoing through the halls like whispers from beyond the grave. In the dimly lit corners, you might catch a glimpse of a figure in old-fashioned attire, frozen in time. A woman in a flowing gown, a man in a top hat, or perhaps a child with an innocent smile. They seem so real, yet so distant, like phantoms from another era. As you explore further, the energy begins to shift. The air grows heavy, making it hard to breathe. You can feel eyes watching you from the shadows, judging your every move. Is it the ghosts of former guests, forever trapped within the hotel walls, or is it your imagination running wild in the darkness? Perhaps the scariest part of the Stanley Hotel is that you can't tell where reality ends and fantasy begins. The line between the two is blurred, leaving you questioning what's real and what's imagined. But it's not just the ghosts that make the Stanley so terrifying. It's also the sense of isolation that pervades the halls. Imagine finding yourself alone in a vast, echoing room, the silence broken only by the sound of your own heartbeat. The weight of the past presses down on you, suffocating you with its suffocating grip. You feel disconnected from the outside world, trapped in a bubble of fear and uncertainty. Then, as suddenly as it began, the feeling lifts and you're left breathless, wondering if it was all in your head. If you want to experience the full force of the Stanley Hotel's haunting power, then you should definitely visit room 217. It is said to be the most haunted room in the hotel, and many guests have reported strange and terrifying experiences there. When you enter the room, you'll immediately notice the musty smell of old carpets and furniture. The room is dimly lit, with only a single window offering a sliver of light. The bed is draped in heavy blankets, and a rocking chair sits in the corner as if someone just got up from it. As you explore the rest of the room, you'll start to feel a sense of dread wash over you. The air will grow heavy, and you might even hear strange noises, such as footsteps in the hallway or whispers in the corner. You can't shake off the feeling that you're being watched, even though you're alone in the room. As night falls, the atmosphere in the room becomes even more intense. The shadows on the wall seem to dance and twist, taking on a life of their own. You might hear the sound of music or laughter echoing from the next room, even though nothing is there. If you're feeling brave, you can spend the night in room 217. But be warned, you might not sleep again for weeks. So is the Stanley Hotel really haunted? Well, that's up for you to decide. There's certainly no shortage of stories and legends to choose from. And who knows, maybe you'll experience something for yourself while staying in one of the hotel's haunted rooms. Just remember, if you do encounter a ghost, don't run. The halls of the Stanley Hotel are long and winding, and you don't want to get lost in them. Instead, stand still and try to communicate with the ghost. If all else fails, then break into a run and don't stop until you reach safety. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there's no denying that the Stanley Hotel is a fascinating place. It's a beautiful resort with a rich history and a dark, mysterious side. So if you're ever in the area, be sure to pay a visit. Just don't forget to pack your ghost hunting gear. Who knows what you might find? And did you like this story? Then check out our other videos about haunted places. We guarantee you won't be disappointed. Thanks for watching.